Welcome back.
A better.
Yeah, we're in your studio now, huh?
I'm in my studio.
Beautiful. Is that one of your works behind you?
Yeah,
Wow, gorgeous.
it's one of the recent things.
Well, thank you so much for continuing the conversation here on the podcast. And I just want to also acknowledge that we're friends, so it's one thing to have a conversation with a friend, but to open up your heart and your life um, in a recorded interview for the general public is
Mm,
a big deal. It takes courage for anybody to do, but
mm.
for you to do it during such a horrific time in your community for your people, it takes a lot and it asks a lot of you. So I just want to honor that and name that and thank you for being willing to speak and to share during such a terrible time.
Thank you, dear. It's an honor, really, to be at your program. Yani, even with this terrible time, yani, I think it's the time, to just open the heart and talk and share the stories and. Oh, but yani, that's uh, that's. Uh, That's an awesome thing, yani. As well, I appreciated your effort being, as well uh, open such a platforms, for someone like me, to speak and share. So thank you as well,
Oh, it's an honor. It's an honor. Um,
and thank you so much for your video talking about the podcast. Like it was, I don't know how to say it, can. But thank you so much for that.
oh, my pleasure. You're very welcome. Um, so to take the conversation in a level deeper here,
Okay.
um, I'd love to just allow you the opportunity to talk more about your childhood. I'm curious personally to know more about the story of you becoming an artist. Um,
Mm,
growing up through occupation, through war, witnessing tremendous violence, and
mm,
then also having this really deep, strong sense of community, culture, tradition, family, being very connected to
mm,
a family, extended family, a community that loves you. Um, and I know that teachers and mentors are always very important stories to lift up on the path of an artist. Um, so for anyone to become an artist, there are these stories of teachers and life events. And for you, there's really no difference between art and activism. Your art feels like it's activism, it's resistance, it's honoring your culture and the stories of your people, and also lifting up awareness and lifting up questions about
mm.
ongoing oppression, ongoing violence, ongoing occupation. Um, so I'd love to hear more about how you got to this place, what your childhood was like, and what drew you to visual art and caused you to continue down
Mm,
that path.
mm. Yeah, so um, actually, the Haitian refugee camp where it's in Bethlehem, and it's one of three refugee camps basically in Bethlehem, Bethlehem city. I born and raised in this camp, and actually, as a child, growing up there in this area where it's surrounded by fence, completely surrounded by three military bases, uh, with like daily, military crossing roads and arresting almost like every single day as a child, I have witnessed so many scenes of running after young people and arresting it, and I always being like so um, like I thought that is the normal uh, situation. This is how everybody in this world is living in.
Mm.
I thought this is like I didn't know who's these people with the green dress with these weapons running every day after the guys and arresting, and I don't know why these guys are throwing stones back to these soldiers. Eh, um, and for me as a child, you know, playing this in my neighborhood, where sometimes we play taking these roles of the soldiers and the guys, and we were so much influenced by that situation in our uh, playing in the neighborhood, and we were like uh, 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 building um, like creating weapon with wood and dress it all the time and play with it, and always play the role of the one who is shooting, the one who is shooted, the demonstrations, the slogans of the demonstrations. So all these images was like it was feeding my daily life as a child in the camp. I didn't know that we are refugees.
Mm.
I didn't know that we are living in a refugee camp. I imagined that that's the whole world is living in, and
Yeah.
you know, uh, so by Oslo agreement, I was almost 13, 14 as well. Even before Oslo, by coming to Oslo, like I'm as a child, I have been arrested like 3 times. Arrested for different reasons. For example, to tell the names of the guys who were throwing stones, for example. And you know, I remember once I was around 10, and the weapon was in my head, and I have been beaten toughly to tell these soldiers where is my house, who's my neighbors, and trying to know information through me, like um and yani when I think about it now, it's like it's really it's like unbelievable, like how that was a real thing that I've been through.
Mhm.
Um, but that was actually the real situation. There is like this a film, a short film made by American journalists called "Stolen Freedom." It's about Deheja in the '89,
Okay.
and that was actually these times from 1985 till 92. Deheja was daily invaded by the soldiers, and I would say till that during time. So since I was like 3 years till I become like 7, 9 years, 10 years. I don't really remember. Yeah, 1993. I was like 10 years, and that was during the first Intifada, where soldiers, Israeli soldiers, were really tough. Yani, even they had this decision by Rabin. the prime minister at that time to break bones of young Palestinian who threw stones. And so after Oslo agreement, we took this breath for 7 years, and then the second intifada started. And from the second intifada till yesterday, Dheisha being invaded by soldiers like twice, 3 times, 4 times a month. From 2000 till last night. Like last night, they were invading and they arrested like a couple of guys, and it's a brutal invading where they know as a soldier like nobody's gonna ask them a question or judge them or send them to court or question them. So always when they do the invading, which is usually in the middle of the morning, at 3, at 4, at 5 a.m., we always wake up hoping and praying that there is nobody's being shooted or killed. And I hate to say that we become like so familiar with this. We started to like when there's lots of soldiers, sometimes they come to just to train the soldiers, like the young soldiers. And sometimes they come as 1,000 of soldiers in all neighborhoods, trying to break main doors, shooting tear gases, a lot of tear gases. So usually in the summer and in the winter, we close completely the windows because we don't want to wake up with the tear gas. So like last year, there's a 8. That was all of that is before 7 October. Okay.
Yeah.
8 young guys only last year, 2023. 8 young guys is being shooted by Israelis during this invade.
Yeah.
And the target is. Or the mission is to arrest some wanted names, and these wanted names are as well very young guys. Like we talk about 16, 17, 18, and sometimes 14. And it feels so shame that nobody can talk about, nobody can change this situation, nobody can do anything about it. And growing up in that situation is just inspired me more to understand how it be to be under occupation and lose all the access of living a normal life and have no access to very simple rights of human rights, as for example going to the city where you born. Like I born in Jerusalem, but I have been when there twice when I have a permission to be there. And simply going to the sea, that I haven't been able to go to the sea all my life. I've been able to access to the seas around the world, but not the one that I belong to. And this is under the crazy thing. And so understanding what it means to be under occupation it's just as well pushed me more to be in the art world and as an activist. Like I call myself as an art activist, where as well art is giving me that space of freedom, space of expression, everything I have of statement, questions, and uh, um, messages, and even fantasies, I will say.
Mm.
Um, and that was actually what made me stick to art more than anything else, and more than just being, uh, 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 like when I produce, when I paint, when I build the sculpture or something, I feel like I have all the access. I create the access for myself. Uh, and I feel like I am able to go beyond all the limits and all the stolen access, I would say. Um, um, yeah, I wanted to speak about very important thing. When you start to talk about like growing up in a society like a refugee camp, I will say there's a very confusing feeling about this place, because it's where I grown up, it's where I raised, but it's not my home. It's a temporary place for us, and what we seeking for is the return to our original hometown, and the homeland, and to our villages and cities that is being now called Israel. Like for example, I'm from Palestinian village that is near to Gaza, and it's one of the settlements now that is around Gaza, where they call it kibbutz, and and I have never been able to access there. I'm not allowed to. So I did this design recipes project, and I call it Castina, as a way, to connect myself to, and to keep this name alive in my life. The name of Castina. Telling these details about childhood and all of that situation, it's like just make anyone question how you can handle living in such a situation. But I will say that in the refugee camp, we are almost like 14,000 people living in 1 kilometer, where everyone knows everyone.
Mm.
We lived there as one big family. And I will say as well, our heritage of uh, how we treat our neighbors, how we collaborate between each other, how we um, live really like one family, and exchange food and exchange clothes, and how when someone is building his house, you find all the neighbors are giving their hands, to help. Actually, this society texture is what help a community living under that situation to be able to handle all these like brutal situation under. And for many people who have been able to leave the camp, they prefer to stay in the camp, because it's where life make more sense with with that surrounding of a friendship and warm يعني, uh, warm relationships. So I feel that is a legacy that we are, as a Palestinian, is our uh, is where um, support our strength and keep us like being able to handle and to resilient and to keep resist, at least our existence. I think if our society was not that connected, I think that, يعني we would have disappeared uh, from the map as a Palestinian, as a name, and as individuals, and as a people. Yani. But our culture is so rich, and it's it's made it's yeah it's. It doesn't just come like that, it's really a legacy of thousands of years. Like if you will ever come to one of the wedding that happened in the camp, as someone living in the camp, I don't wait for an invitation to go to a wedding. No, I invite myself. I just join there, and then when you go to the wedding, you see like hundreds of people like. Turn this small wedding to a festival that everyone is participating, and might be 3-4 days later there's a funeral. You see the same people at the funeral. Everybody's there, everybody's present, and actually this is what as well make me belong to the community in the camp and to the Palestinian as well in general.
Yeah.
Mm.
To choose to stay there.
Yes,
it's that sense of belonging. Despite
I think I'm lucky because I'm lucky because I have the option, just to be somewhere else where it's like away where it's more quiet, where there's no risk for life.
Yeah.
But yeah, my belonging is stronger than just deciding to travel abroad. I do travel abroad. I like to travel abroad, and it's my chance, to see different communities, different cultures, and meeting lots of people like you said, which it's teached me a lot, and it's my way to learn more about myself and my community and my identity, and it's my way as well to explore my long trip. And for me here, the Haysha is my basement. Wherever I go, I travel, I come back.
Yeah. And you've made a lot of friends around the world, and a lot of people who maybe were oriented toward Palestinian solidarity and Palestinian liberation. But there's something about friendship, there's something about art that help people connect to our shared humanity in a deeper and in a lifelong way. And your work has been shared all over the world, but you can't, it's part of your resistance. It's what you're doing is for your people, and the work, it seems like it's lifelong for you. And your travels, they expand your world, but they also sort of bring Palestine around the world and help us understand how important solidarity is, and how, I've come to understand just that our liberation is caught up. My personal liberation is caught up in your liberation, and without collective liberation, there really isn't a true sense of liberation that I can feel.
I believe so.
Yeah. And you've been working on some new work lately. You have a lot of stuff that
Mm,
you've been working on, and even
mm.
even through this brutal siege of these last few months, you've been applying yourself to new work. And I'm wondering if you'd be willing to talk a little bit about what your process is like these days, and what you're working on.
Well, actually, this is still a processing project, but I'm working under title uh, uh, literally translating from Arabic to English is the liberating stitch, and as it's this is a name of old way of stitching the embroidery, and they call it like it's like how to say like freestyle embroidery stitching.
Cool.
Uh, but to translate it literally, like to read it in Arabic, it's called عرق تحريري. It's like when you translate it literally, word by word, it will sound like liberating roots. Uh, so
Mm,
I was in love with the name of this style or this way of stitching,
mm,
and stitching as well in the embroidery. It's a whole process of being patient, of being creating a beauty of you know um, uh, creating a stitch by stitch by stitch. يعني till then you have these beautiful patterns that each pattern is an expression of type of a trees in the around or a flower, and as well it's the embroidery. It's one of the main important heritage that we are proud of as well. That made by uh, mothers, I will say, by the patience of the woman who transfer this beautiful career from a generation to a generation. And I wanted through my project, a painting project, to to transfer these shapes and forms into a canvas, a collection of of painting. And I don't know exactly how it's going to go, but the project's still processing, but inspired by the embroidery. So hopefully I will be able to finalize it in this 2 3 months, uh, and then we will see how it's gonna go.
wonderful.
Thank you.
Yeah. And then
Mm.
there's another project you're working on, a boat project, correct?
Yeah, that's an uh, installation that is going to be installed at a cultural institution, recent one called the Wonder Cabinet. Uh, so we are collaborating in finding all the facilities to build that sculpture with its uh, hanged boat about the the exile, even when you are at your homeland, and as well because this image of the boat traveling uh, from uh, from countries where its people are becoming refugees. And so these boats become this like a bridge escaping from death to life, searching for a new opportunity, new page, and new chance of a new life, I will say. So, and these images, we have been seeing it like for last decade, from Syria, from Morocco, from Algeria. So, and as well from all these countries that they are under invisible, I will say, occupation. And I see this boat is like the transferers of the people who really wanted to just survive. But as well, still this project still as well a processing. I'll say, and we will see how it's going to go. Like here in our situation, there is nothing like completely planned, and we know after 2 months at that day at that time how things is gonna go. Like it's always open schedule.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
It's a beautiful thing. And you have to leave room for things to emerge in the creative process too. If you become too rigid, then some of the magic of the muses and the possibilities of the process don't have room to emerge as well.
Yeah, that's important.
Yeah.
As a technique, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And lastly here, you have recently been creating music as well. And you performed at Harvest Gathering a couple years ago.
Correct.
We won't go into the long details, but you were supposed to come in person, but you got denied access, flew all the way to Chicago, and then had to turn around and go home. And that was really unfortunate, but we still were able to Zoom you in. So we projected the video of you playing music in the barn at the farm for Harvest Gathering, and there was a bunch of people there dancing, people of all ages. It was really beautiful, and I love the music.
Thank you.
I'm wondering if you could send us a track to play on the ending of this podcast to play us out. And
absolutely.
Okay, great. We'll do that. And can you just share a little bit about how you got into music and what your flow is like musically?
Yeah, of course. I was invited by Dar Jasser for Art and Research to participate in this sound program that run by Nicholas Jahar, who is as well was we were at the art residency at Dar Jasser at the same time, yani, so I get to know him as well. So I find it very interesting to learn more about sounds as another layer of understanding the around and how that can serve an art project. So I was in this program, then I was impressed by how it's gathering the sounds and then turn it into beats and different layers of sounds. It's like absolutely amazing thing, and like I just found myself enjoying a lot doing that, recording sounds layer after a layer after layer, and see how all these layers goes together, or only 2 layers, or So and then uh, there is this chance when you do it live. There is a chance, to make a new sound. There is a possibility to make a new sound every single moment, and my interest turned from just having some skills in sound that can be just more layered to my artwork, turned to have it like a hobby thing, or I just really enjoy playing live music. And not to make tracks or to be professional in that, but I enjoy just, you know, testing the sounds and test how it's gonna work together. And I started to hear sounds and voices in different way. Uh, and it's really something that expand this space of freedom that I was talking about at the beginning. Yeah, it's really something beautiful. Yeah,
Mhm.
to be in. Yeah, so I feel like more privileged that now I'm into this sounds world.
Good. Good. I hope you keep going. I'd love to collaborate with you.
That would be a great thing. Yeah.
Yes, let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Well, I had
Actually, well, before I was into this music, and I remember like when you invite me to your stage to read that poem for Darwish, and then you were playing your music,
Mhm.
with the poem. That was well great moment I had during my stay at Gathering Far. Well, I thank you so much for that opportunity.
Oh, thank you. That was beautiful.
Mm.
Yeah, you got
Yeah.
up and joined the band at Hoxseyville and read a poem, and we provided some accompaniment. That was beautiful.
I couldn't imagine myself on a stage, but yeah, thank you for make it into a real thing.
Yeah, it was wonderful. It was a great blessing for everyone, um and yeah, again, art and water are these elements that
Mm,
are so much at the center of my life. And when I look into, as I've on my journey, I've looked into human rights violations around water, and they always point to larger
mm,
systems of oppression. And here
mm,
in Michigan, with the Flint water crisis and the Detroit water shutoffs, and water being poisoned and manipulated in indigenous country in the United States, it's part of these larger systems of oppression that are
mm.
connected to colonialism. And,
Yeah.
for the last 3 months, the people on earth who have had their human right to clean water
Mm,
most egregiously violated have been the people of Gaza.
mm.
It's been the worst in terms of,
Absolutely. Mm.
people expected to survive with
Yeah.
absolutely no water.
At
Um,
least, yeah. Mm,
yeah, and so you look into that in the water sector, it's like, well, this is connected to much larger systems of
mm,
oppression,
mm.
systems of colonialism, and um, it's a moment now where, at least in the United States, I've never seen so many people learning about the story of the Palestinian people and the mistreatment of the Palestinian people. People learning about the Nakba and the Naksa and the Antifadas and the Oslo Accords
Mm.
and what made them fail. All of this history that didn't come to us naturally in the United States. And
Yeah.
I'm wondering if you can feel that solidarity and how you reconcile, the
Mm,
support of the people with also that still not being enough
mm,
to create a
mm,
ceasefire and to create
mm, mm.
a larger change that's absolutely needed. How are you feeling the solidarity, and how's that juxtaposition?
Well, no, we are hearing the voices around the world that's in solidarity with Palestinian, and this is like what we were wishing one day to have without paying that huge price of Palestinian blood to be happened, to be recognize the oppression that Palestinians are living in. So, like as a Palestinian, we are appreciating every single voice that is in solidarity with the justice, I will say. Because what we really need is justice and freedom more than anything else. And I feel that what happened today is that the world is dividing between, the controllers and the people. And it's just like the people suddenly wake up on, all these controlling elements that is, some of it was visible and some of it was invisible and some of it was like just trick the whole people, yani, as they are like you make you think that you are choosing the life you want and they as they are like you know taking the humanity to a shift where it's justice for everyone and freedom for everyone and then I think what happened in Gaza is just show another reality of what's how the shape of the system that is controlling the world actually. And I see all these voices is first is in solidarity with Palestine, but as well it's their humanity that is refusing this injustice and brutal images that come out of Gaza. And so we notice it, we appreciate it, and I believe always like victory at the end will be in the hand of the people of the world who believe in the justice and freedom for everyone with no exceptions. And
Yes.
yeah,
Power to the people.
yeah, absolutely. Power to the people. And it's back to the like the water as right of every single person. Like was talking to some relatives in Gaza, like who told me like we've been used to the bomb sounds. We have been used to be hungry, but we just want some water to drink. Like it's water is something that you can't just use to not to have, especially Palestine is very very rich region with underground water, but we only get 13% of this water. That's why, like, if you will ever come to Palestine, you will see how every single house has water tank on the top of it, because we receive water only for 22 hours every 2 weeks. So we have to store the water in our tanks so we can have water every day. And we are so careful with with the wasting water, and we try not to waste water at all because it's so limited amount. So it's like Palestinian have 13% of the water, while Israeli got like 87% of this water. They don't have to have water tanks or something. It's uh, it's uh, there is no way or there is no way that the water could cut off from any settlements. But in the summer, actually, we suffer from not having water because especially in the camp, these 13,000 people with this very small amount of receiving water. So, like a big part of the summer, we are suffering of not having water. So we always try to keep and save and not to waste. So yeah, we know very well how water is like a huge gift.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, I encourage all of our listeners to investigate Ayad's work on the internet. You can look up Ayad Arafah and find links to not only your artwork, but your partnerships and work that you've done internationally and in Palestine, projects that you've done in the West Bank and residencies that you've done and galleries that you've partnered with. There's a lot to discover there. And hopefully some of your music will be available for the general public before too long, but we're going to get the special treat of getting to hear some of your music during the outro. But just want to thank you again so much, Ayad, for your generosity of spirit, for sharing your story, connecting with me and our listeners. And I hope that we can continue to stay connected and find ways to collaborate toward common goals and toward liberation.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me, bro.
Yeah, thank you, bro. I'll see you soon.
Hopefully, very soon.
Yeah. Thank you.
My pleasure.